One of the things that I wanted to ask you about was something you were talking about with Sasha Ayad in your podcast, Gender Wider Lens, and in an episode that was all about parents. And you talked about how, as a parent, when you're going into these gender clinics and these gender hospitals and these groups for parents or informational sessions, and they're telling you this is the right thing and everyone's going along, and they're telling you this is the only option really for your child if you want to be a good parent, if you don't want to traumatize them and irrevocably harm them. um, and that there's this kind of phenomenon of that trust of the white lab co and the authority. And it almost reminded me, the way you were describing it, of that social experiment or the behavioral experiment where they had people electrocute people or think they were electrocuting people very severely, even
Stanley
to the point of
Milgram.
death. Yeah, that's the one,
Yeah,
because they were
yeah,
being told to by people in white lab coats. And that's
yeah.
so powerful for us as humans. Is very, very few people can actually seem to say no, which is scary.
It is scary. And I think one of the reasons why parents and people like me and you are so shocked and almost traumatized, well, traumatized, I would say, by the whole event is that we see it in reality. We see actually it's true. 70% of people will look the other way. And it's only when you see that and you realize, well, what does that mean? It means we've learned nothing. It means if there was a war and if fascists came into town, people would look the other way and say, I'm all right.
Mm.
And when you've seen that in your life, you can't unsee it. It's like you've seen the darkest side of humanity. You've seen the reality of those experiments. And you kind of, when we read and saw those experiments, it's shocking, but it's like, oh God, I hope we're more civilized now. And then you live through it and you think, oh my God, oh my God. And it's not just that the parents, and this is one of the things in the therapeutic support groups, it's not just that the parents are devastated and alone and think that their children are receiving the wrong care and treatment, but it's also they have seen people shrink away and not support when they know, when the people involved know that actually the kid needs better support. And just to be aware of that darker side of us on such an important point of their life, it's a horrible moment. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure you were through it.
Yeah, what you describe is, you kind of just gave me chills because that was so real and accurate and scary to see. And the other thing is that there are some parents who embrace it and then become lauded for it. I mean, you've mentioned in the past, like they'll write books about it, they'll start organizations, they'll make it their whole thing, their whole identity, not just their child's identity. And
Well,
then
it's
what
very
kind of pressure does that put on the other parents who see that?
well for starters, it's very exciting. Like I'm a parent, and it's very exciting to think you have a very special kid. We all think it. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And we run around saying how special our kids are, and over time we realize, okay, maybe they're just ordinary,
Mm-hmm.
even though they're very special to me.
Of course.
Um, but I think it goes to parents' heads, like this kind of suspicion that their kid is the most special kid in the world is borne out by the
Mm-hmm.
fact that they're transgender. So it goes to their head, it excites them, and they run with it. And there's a huge project then because you can show your love in very tangible ways by supporting the child. And parents, in a way, us parents, all of us, we're running around trying to show our love in all sorts of ways to our children, and it's hard to be a parent and it's hard to show your love. So if you had a tangible, these are the steps you take, this is what you do, and this is how you operate, it's very alluring for the parent who might feel a little bit inadequate, I would say, to say, yeah, okay, I'll do all of those and then I will be the great parent. So that's one type of parent, if you follow me. And then the other parents are kind of browbeaten to go along with this because if that parent thinks it's all fabulous and it should be so applauded, well, then we've got to get with the program. I mustn't love my kid enough if this parent thinks this is such a great thing, which doesn't stand up to critical scrutiny on any level. You know what I mean? Because the really brave thing to do with any kid is to look down the road and say, I know what I'm going to say isn't going to make you happy right now, but I do know it's the best thing for you, and so I'm going to do it. That's what the role of parents has been forever. It's not a very thankless role, but it's our role. That's our job. And yeah, the instant gratification of affirmation is a really dubious thing to sell to parents.
Mhm. Especially because the road leads to these surgeries. And that's what's hard for people who are completely on the outside to even wrap their brains around, that a parent would bring their child in for this surgery, which is medically unnecessary. And, whether it's mastectomy or later on, it would be the genital surgery, I suppose, unless the parent decides to take their kid out to another country, right? Because
Yeah.
that can happen.
Well, I know parents, who I've known over the years, and their kid was gender nonconforming like I was at 3 and 4 and 5, and they were told to transition the kid, and the parents went along with it, saying, "Okay, that's what I have to do," and change their identity so they go from he, him to she, her, and give her a new name, and now she's 6 and she's a girl, and things like that. And then they're rolling on with it, thinking this is the right thing. And then suddenly the doctor says, and now we're going into puberty blockers because puberty will be soon. And the parents are going, oh no, oh no, 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 no. I didn't think that was what was going to happen. I thought the kid was going to grow out of it.
Mm.
And they're like, well, actually, never before have we changed pronouns. Never before have we changed pronouns on 5-year-olds. The impact on these, like they're babies, they're 5. Telling a little girl that she could be a little boy and we're just going to call you little boy and one day we'll fix your genitals. They'll go, okay, great.
Yeah.
Mommy will do that. Yeah. And so then the mother starts, and I've worked with a few kids and parents. Not, I haven't worked with the kids. I've worked with the parents with this, and they've rode it back. They rode it back when they were faced with the puberty blockers, and tried to come back the long road of actually, when I said you could be a boy, it was you were trying it out, and now we're going to try and go back. It's been very difficult and very hard. Most parents go with it because they've gone in so far. And so I don't think a lot of those parents who start at 5, they kind of think, oh, we'll see how it goes. This is what the kid likes. We're being child-centered. It's, and we have this way as parents to say, oh, well, it's not like the way we were when we were kids. And it's like, well, for millennia, children have experimented in different roles. They've always done that. And this is the first generation that are saying, whatever the kid says goes. And that's a really heavy burden to put on a kid's shoulders,
Mm-hmm.
because kids should have the freedom to say crazy things and to have the parent to say no, no, and yes, depending on the context.
Mm-hmm.
That's the parent's role, and that's the child's role is to do all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a hard situation. I really think a lot of those affirming parents, I think they're really loving, really engaged, and they're being misguided by doctors and psychiatrists and psychologists. I don't have any dark, real feelings for the parents. I very much look at the medical profession and think, how can you sell this concept? It's 10 years old. What are you talking about? Do you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? We are in real experimental treatment pathways here.